All right, so this is a halfway through the year, 6 month update on my ever expanding kind of record collection here. I did one of these back in February, but I'm going to do this again here in June because I just added a bunch of stuff to it and I want to go ahead and get through some of it. I'm going to go through some of the newest stuff first, and then we'll talk about some of the old stuff. I'm going to draw attention to what I think is most important first. Um, this is actually My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West. This is actually the first triple LP I have ever owned, and very happy about it. This was my most, if you'll remember, in my Spotify recap post on Facebook back when they were doing that a while ago. This was actually my most listened to album from 2025, and so I'm gonna set that over there. Very, very important to me. This is late registration. You remember I did the review on this record. I said it was my personal favorite Kanye West album. This was actually my fifth most listened to. I think it was my fifth most. Could have been my third most listened to album from 2025 as well. So I'm gonna set that over there. Kind of just get those out of the way. What else is here? I do have my Tyler the Creator stuff. Chromacopia, I reviewed this one for the Grammys. This is Igor. This is my personal favorite of his. And I did review this as well, Kendrick Lamar. Not Good Kid, Mad City, sorry. GNX for the Grammys as well. Very happy this one, even though it wasn't my favorite, I am glad it won. Good Kid, Mad City, again, legendary project from him. And To Pimp Butterfly. Most of that has stayed the same from when I last went through it, so I'm going to shove that kind of to the side. I'm actually going to put these with it. Over here, this is record I actually just reviewed, Journey Through the Secret Life of Plants. I didn't mention this in the review, but this is actually a soundtrack to a movie. I should have mentioned it, but I actually didn't. But you can never actually find the movie that's attached to because it was a documentary, and it's so riddled with errors that you almost never see it anywhere. So, yeah, kind of interesting there. This is Intervisions. This is, in my opinion, the much better album and one of his best. Probably my second favorite of his. Sticky Fingers, Rolling Stones, the iconic. That's the real zipper cover, by the way. And then you have Let It Bleed. Probably my favorite between the two. Well, I say that. I actually think I like Sticky Fingers just a little bit more. Going through over here, this is the new thing, one of my newer editions, Metallica, Master of Puppets. Probably my favorite Metallica album, and in my opinion, their best. Ride the Lightning there with it. These are my two favorite Queen albums, News of the World and Night of the Opera. Those are my two favorites. Stay tuned for next week because I'm going to review one of these, and I'll let you guess which one that's going to be. I reviewed The Romantic fairly recently. This was the first album that released in 2026 that I reviewed. As I said before, I thought it was a mixed bag. I thought it was generally very listenable, very pleasant, but I just didn't think it was being aggressive enough. Ooh, that's not good. Okay. Getting Killed by Geese, again, personal favorite of mine. Didn't review this yet, but I do plan to. I'm actually gonna set this with these. I'll sit. I'm moving stuff around. I'm not being very decisive here, am I? Yeah. Getting Killed by Geese. This is Man's Best Friend by Sabrina Carpenter. I said it was also very kind of a middle-brow, kind of decent album, kind of little over break even, but I didn't think it was that great. Didn't deserve to be nominated in my opinion, but I understand why it was. This is the album that ultimately did win Album of the Year for 2025. Very happy about that. I think it was definitely deserved. Wasn't my favorite record of 2025, but I understand. It's Almost Dry by Pusha T, and this was actually a newer edition. Circles by Mac Miller. This was his first posthumous record, and it was brilliant. I love that album a lot. I actually reviewed this year. Rodeo by Travis Scott, Houston legend. Love this record, one of my favorites. In Between Dreams by Jack Johnson. I mentioned this is probably one of my favorite albums from my childhood, so I'm going to set that over there. This is a very new edition, something I added recently. Mad Villain by MF Doom and Madlib. Just a legendary underground hip-hop record, definitely worth putting up there. Linkin Park, one of my favorite albums, Hybrid Theory. Enter the 36 by Wu-Tang, and you've got the cute little Disney soundtrack. That was actually the first soundtrack I ever owned, and it's actually the first picture disc I've ever owned as well. Some really new stuff, actually. Barbara Mandrell, Moods. This was actually my grandfather's, John Wilson's, probably one of his favorite artists. I don't know if this was his favorite record, but I did know that this was one of his favorite artists, so very interesting there. You've got Eagles Greatest Hits. This is something my mom gave me. This is the first Greatest Hits collection I've ever owned on vinyl, so that's interesting. This is Bob Marley and the Wailers, Exodus. This is also very new. Just got this. Love Bob Marley. It's the first Bob Marley I've owned. Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Also, again, favorite of mine. Probably my second favorite album from him, and probably actually his best. Dark Side of the Moon. I love this record, but it's I don't think it's their best. I think Animals is better, but I do still really enjoy Dark Side of the Moon. It's just iconic. This is a Neil Diamond record, first Neil Diamond record. Beautiful Noise. Kind of underrated. I actually really did enjoy this one. Zeppelin 4 record I've said very publicly that I think is a bit overrated. Still stand by that, but it's still a great album. It's just not the legend everyone says it is. This is, though, In the Court of the Crimson King by King Crimson, one of the best records of the 60s. Gonna set that over here. Just a very iconic album overall. This is actually a very recent addition, too. The Fever Zone, a.k.a. Delilah, by Tom Jones. This is actually the first... Technically, this is actually the first soul record I ever added to my collection. It's actually part of a subgenre called blue-eyed soul, which is what they call soul when it's performed and written by a white artist. So, just something I thought that's an interesting music fact. Electric Ladyland, the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Again, probably my favorite Jimi Hendrix record. I think Are You Experienced is better, but I think this is just my personal favorite. I love the blues cuts on that so much. Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m., Simon and Garfunkel. Yeah, obviously, I don't need to say much on that. It's an incredible record. This is also another one. Barbra Streisand, People. This was her fourth ever album, I think. Yeah, this was like her fourth album ever. Yeah, not a lot to say about it, but it is good. It's a good record. It's Barbra Streisand. I do need a Streisand because she's one of the most important figures in music. You gotta have her. And this is Elvis Presley. I had to have an Elvis, and this is my favorite Elvis record, so obviously going to put that there. And you're probably wondering, well, this is all well and good, but where's the Jethro Tull? Because that's your favorite artist right now, so where is it at? There's all this other stuff, but where's that? Well, this is where I've kind of deceived you, because, yeah, here it is. So there are 10 records in this one, so there's an additional 10. This is the most of any artist I have of any physical media. This is the most of an artist I have. There's 10 records here, and I'll just go like some of the stuff I added more recently this year. You saw my Facebook post on this before, the stand-up. This is actually the pop-up gatefold LP, because it actually has a pop-up book in it, so you saw that. This was 1969, their record stand-up. Benefit over here is right next to it. You have Aqualung, my personal favorite, and my second most listened to album of 2025. Passion Play. You got War Child up here, Minstrel in the Gallery. Heavy Horses, again, new edition this year. Same thing with A. Beast in the Broadsword further up, and Curious Ruminant. That's actually my first autographed LP too, Curious Ruminant. It has a little card with Ian Anderson's signature on it. So yeah, very special to me. But yeah, this is now the complete record collection of me. And yeah, I have filled up, and all of this, well, all of that over there, these are obviously stored separately, but all of this fills up this. It just fills it up completely, front to back. It's not quite wide enough to go this way, otherwise I could probably get more in it, but it fills it up front to back, and it's kind of wild. But yeah, so I'm probably going to have to get a new one of these. Probably going to need to get one or two more, especially since I intend to grow it massively going forward. But yeah, that is the entire new record collection, and that's some of the additions. Probably the main highlight here probably being the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, my first ever triple LP. Definitely one of the big additions there. And I added some stuff that I've reviewed in the past and that I really wanted in my collection, and now I obviously do. So, oh, I actually didn't go through my 80s stuff over here. I actually didn't go through that. That's embarrassing. Simple Pleasure by Mom McFerrin, Controlled by Janet Jackson, my favorite Janet Jackson record. Just reviewed this not that long ago. Takes Him a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back by Public Enemy. Love that record. Per Turbo by Judas Priest. Sorry, this is actually a special cover. And this is one of the new editions I just got. The Van Halen. This is the 1984. My favorite Van Halen record. It's the one with Panama on it, in case you're wondering. Lionel Richie, Can't Slow Down. I reviewed this, said it was a damn near perfect project. Still stand by that. AC/DC, this is a gold vinyl record. And Moving Pictures by Rush, which I've reviewed and I've said is perfect. But yeah, there we go. That's the full collection. Sorry about that. I completely forgot to show off the 80s stuff. But yeah, that's basically everything there. And all of that, like I said, fills up that box over there. And, yeah, so I've got a massive record collection, and I intend to get this even bigger by the end of the year. And going into the 2027, I intend to grow it even more. If there's stuff I really want to add, I probably want to get some more. I want to get some more stuff that like I've actually reviewed. Like I want to get that in my physical media. I want to get some more stuff from 2025 specifically in my physical media. I would love to get a Let God Sort 'Em Out in my physical media. I'd love to get some other just iconic records, some more Judas Priest stuff, maybe some more Metallica. But I've got as well, that's the record collection. I'll show off a couple more of my CDs over here. I didn't really add anything new to this. This is still the same CDs I have. Kill 'Em All, Justice for All, the Black Album. Got my Foo Fighters CD here. Green Day CD. What else we got? Hellbilly Deluxe. Evanescence. My Chemical Romance CD. Of course, I own a My Chemical Romance CD. First ever Greatest Hits CD. The Queen Triple. Greatest Hits 1, 2, and 3. And I've got a couple of Ray Charles CDs as well. So that's the CD collection. But yeah, I'm very happy with the physical media collection so far. I probably will expand to get more of both vinyl and CD in my collection eventually. But yeah, really looking forward to expanding that some more. I intend to let it grow beyond a shelf. I hope that eventually that my CD collection will take up that entire shelf as opposed to those. And hoping that my vinyl collection will be more than that one box there. So definitely means I'm going to have to get a lot more room. And I'm going to have to get another one of these for when I get more Jethro Tull. So yeah, that is my entire record collection. I hope you've enjoyed this little update. And definitely look forward to adding more to it in the future. Definitely intend to do that. All right, y'all have a good one. Good night.